Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I'm Stylosa and welcome back to another episode of OverAnalyzed. This time we're going to take a look at Zarya on Ilios. Now, if you look at the team composition there, as it just quickly pops up, there's only me as the tank. This isn't ideal. But do remember, sometimes it's okay to roll with a non-meta build. One thing I always advise people to do is never force people to play heroes that they cannot play. You see, we're playing King of the Hill here, so having two flankers could work out pretty well. You know, yes, I would prefer another tank, but it's fine. I'm not going to tell the Tracer player or the Genji player to change. Whatever, they can just sit as they are. Maybe it'll work. It might catch the enemy team off guard. So what we're looking to do with Zarya is manage our shields effectively. One of the issues I've had with Zarya in the past is I would pre-shield myself, anticipating damage. That's not good. In fact, that's a bad move. What you should do is take damage, then shield yourself. Also, that's pretty funny, because he got knocked off the edge there by Reaper. Bye. I think Farah actually fired a concussion blast in the moment I hit him with the right click, which sent him flying off the edge. Yep, there you go. Yeah, so managing your shields is a major thing. You'll notice throughout this game, my energy is extremely high. This is a combination of me getting much better with Zarya's shields and me getting attacked by the enemy, because it is difficult to know when to kill a Zarya player. I mean, look at this right now. She just bubbled, and I went through her bubble very quick, like insanely fast, because I was 100 charge. I knew I would. Yeah, it's going to charge her, but as soon as the bubble's gone, we can do damage to her and take her out. I got my Graviton massively quick there. The Pharaoh player follows up. I shield the Pharaoh player as it's committed to the ulti, because Pharaoh's extremely vulnerable when she is ulting. And we wipe them out, which is a very strong combination. So this sets the tone for this kind of match, right? We initially lost a point, but now we've taken it back, or rather this phase of the game. Now what I'm looking to do here is just put damage down on the enemy. You'll see people sometimes say, oh, don't do that. You're feeding ult to the enemy. You are, but you're also building your own ult. Always take the chance to damage the enemies if you can. Don't shy away from that. Pile damage in if possible. Obviously, you want to get effective eliminations. You don't just want to splash damage people to death. But it's still worth it. They need to move in, and they're taking damage as they're coming in. So we got Graviton here, which is fine, right? I had my shields up. I shielded myself. I think I shielded the Lucio. That's fine. It's not really going to work. It was more of a... That was a panic Graviton. That's the kind of Gravitons I want to see off enemy Zarya players, because I know that means that I'm winning and our team are winning. Winston goes Primal Rage, dives onto the point. It doesn't really get anything. Again, Zarya there, she bubbles herself, and I just burn through the bubble. I'm 100 charge, right? I can do this. I know she's going to get charged from it, but I don't care. I just want to burn through and just absolutely obliterate her and take damage. You can see I've almost got my ultimate available now. You might be able to hear the in-game voice comms as well. I think it was the Pharaoh player or maybe the Tracer player. Yeah, it was the Pharaoh player was saying the ult's ready. So I'm looking for the wombo combo. It's so simple to do. I get my Graviton off, wombo combo comes in, we wipe them out. Again, we get another panic Graviton out of the enemy Zarya, which is fantastic. And now they've got a D.Va. This is great for me, because D.Va is Zarya bait. Or Zarya fodder, I guess. You just kill D.Va. D.Va can't stop your damage. A defense matrix doesn't work. If D.Va dives on top of you, she can't do enough damage to you in the time you can do damage to her to kill her. Yeah, she can't kill you. You are anti-D.Va. Zarya is absolutely anti-D.Va. So that change by their Winston player was not the greatest. And I'm enjoying this. I'm thinking, yeah, this is going well. Again, you can see I'm at 100% charge again. Now, what I'm doing with the shields, like I said earlier, is I'm trying to use the shields when I know it's effective. In the sense of when I know I'm going to take damage. So if I walk out into the firing line and get hit, I'm going to shield myself. I'm not going to pre-shield myself. There I took a bit too much damage and died. Also, when I'm shielding people on my team, I'm going to look to shield big targets like Roadhogs, D.Vas, Winstons. However, sometimes it makes sense to just shield people taking damage, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying, right? Which is what I've been doing a lot in this game, because, as I said, I'm the only tank. So I worried a little bit, because I thought I'm not going to have that much energy, because I like these big targets. I like Winston. I like a Winston that dives into the enemy so I can shield him, because it's easy energy for me. That makes me more effective. It makes him more effective, and we're just better at killing the enemy team overall. So I've gone for a Graviton Surge here, and I've pushed in. The Graviton wasn't really followed up on, so... That was kind of like me forcing the issue with the Graviton a little bit too much there. What I should have done is waited until the fight broke out. We're still winning the fight. We're still managing to burn through what they've got. So it kind of isn't too bad. But it was a waste. Like, I had two really good Gravitons and then a really bad Graviton. Another thing with Zarya as well is alternating between your primary and secondary fire. Now, when you're getting jumped by somebody and they're on top of you at point-blank range, it is often much easier to right-click them. You see me kill the McCree there with a right-click. I could have left-clicked and tracked him, but I find targets that are very close to me much easier to kill with a right-click. When they're sort of like close but not super close, I'm going to left-click them, because that's easier again to me there. Obviously, if they're at long range, you're going to have to right-click, because your left-click's not going to reach them, or your primary attack won't reach them, your secondary will. Now, we're looking at the team build here, and yeah, we're going to stick with what we've got, because remember what I said, it doesn't matter if you go against the meta, if it works. Now, we're high damage, and it obviously worked. The enemy team could not take, you know, they just couldn't deal with the damage we were putting out. They had nobody to deal with Farah, they had nobody to deal with me, really. I was just sort of running around, do what I wanted. Their Winston just got wrecked completely. I mean, we've got a Reaper there, so the Genji changed to a Reaper, so, you know, he's going to do damage as well. He's anti-tank. Winston's going to get wrecked by him. D.Va, you know, I put damage through D.Va, so it wasn't really the greatest pick. Generally, I wouldn't pick a D.Va against the Zarya. It's not really the greatest plan ever. But, you know, we go back into the fight. So you can see they've got a D.Va. Again, I've walked in and I've taken some damage with my shields. Probably should have got my charge much higher there. I didn't shield the allied player quick there, so I kind of suffered. And I'm taking too much damage here. This, to me, now is like, oh, shit, I'm in panic mode. I know this is going to go bad. D.Va falls off, which is really quite funny considering she can jump. So yeah, she obviously used it and just couldn't get out in time. But again, I'm in a bad position here. I'm not really doing anything. I'm sort of off to the fight. I'm not taking enough damage. I'm not shielding my allies. I'm sort of sitting in the corner. They're bossing the issue. They've eventually pushed me out of the point and I'm dead. The reason why that went bad is you want to be in the fight as Zarya. You don't want to be hanging around at the back. You need to force the issue. I need to push forward. If you look at their teams now, you can see they've got the 2 tanks still, and it's really starting to pay off for them. We're not being able to break the point, and that's not going to play too well for us. Like, they've got control of the point initially. We need to get in there. This means we need to kill 2 tanks to get in there. It's going to be difficult. We don't have the damage for this, really. Maybe we can if we get onto the right targets. I mean, I'm lucky, got onto the D.Va there, but then I noticed the McCree. You see, like, it's all about target priority. The McCree is going to do much more damage to me than the D.Va. If I'm attacking a D.Va and I see a McCree, I'm going to jump to the McCree. That shield there was a waste of a shield. I do this too much, and I've got to stop doing this. I shielded that Lucio for no reason. Like, again, it was like a pre-shield. I was like, oh, maybe he'll take damage. But you see, he's dead there. I should have probably shielded him then. I know my shield did come up, but I think it came up just as he died, maybe, or just before he was about to die. So it would have to have been a really fast reaction off me. Maybe I did try to do it, but I just didn't target him in time. So yeah, that was a bad use of the shields there. This is one of the ways you need to get much better at playing Zarya. I mean, we all need to get better at playing Zarya, but for me, I need to be much better with my shields. In this game, I think I did pretty well. You'll see at the end, I have an extremely high average energy, so obviously I was doing something right. But I could have done better. I absolutely could have done better, and I should have done better. This pre-shielding mentality, I've totally got to get this out of my head. So they've pushed forward quite a lot here. That Zarya is supercharged. That was an example there where I should not have attacked the Zarya. The reason why I did is because I heard a team call Zarya to the left. So I'm thinking, the team are following up. I'm just going to dive in and try and burn through her shield. Problem is, I did burn through her shield, but I actually gave her a charge of which she killed me with, and then our team followed up. Probably was okay because she was so far forward that I died and then she got killed because I'm going to maybe get back to that point quicker. But yeah, now I've got Graviton up. Now it's time for me to do something. So I've gone in. I've got a big Graviton surge there, but there's not really anything to follow up with. Now, that was a panic Graviton off me because I'm looking at the enemy team. I'm like, the whole team is there. I'm going to maybe try and keep them off the point just a little bit to give us more of a chance to get back. It didn't work. It was a waste of time, but we would have lost anyway. So we suffered heavily there. You can see we do have a D.Va. Now, I don't really like a D.Va, to be honest. I would always pretty much take a Winston. Now, this is coming from a Zarya player's perspective. D.Va's fine. D.Va can do work. But I like the fact that Winston will generally take more damage than a D.Va because D.Va is cycling her defense matrix. Now, that's no fault of the player playing D.Va or Winston. In Winston's case, a good Winston player will expect you to shield them as they jump in, take that damage, then drop their barrier. They won't instantly drop their barrier. That's kind of what sets good Winston players from not so good Winston players. If a Winston player jumps in and drops his barrier down immediately, he's not a good Winston player. They need to wait and absorb that damage for the Zarya player because Overwatch is a team game. You've got to play together and do that kind of work. Now, you'll notice that Wong has actually changed to Winston. Now, we asked him. I think I asked him to do this. I was like, Wong, could anybody play a tank? Because I knew this was going to go south. I'm not forcing the issue. I'm just politely asking, like, guys, could you do it? Notice what he did there. He dived straight in. He let me charge. He let me barrier him. Then he dropped his barrier. Look at my charge. I'm at 100 charge. That is so good. When you've got a Winston that knows what he's doing, it is amazing for a Zarya player. Like, absolutely amazing. I'm taking a ton of damage. I managed to stay up. There, Zarya, I think, is pretty charged. I don't know whether I get the kill on her here. Our Winston, again, is up in their face, pushing them back. I'm getting ready to shield him. I've got my shield in like 3 seconds. I'm going to be looking to give it him. I'm sort of moving around trying to find the Winston because I know he's my partner in crime. It's my job to look after him, and in turn, it's his job to look after me with charge. It's like a mutual, you know, it's a win-win, mutual benefit, right? Everybody wins. Now, I'm fully charged here, so I think I hit the Zenyatta there. I could have probably followed up on him. The McCree really doesn't want to dive onto me there. He's going to get wrecked. You'll notice Winston, though, did dive onto him. I shield Winston. This was kind of funny there. I used my Graviton Surge at the moment the Pharah player fired Concussive Blast and knocked them away. And it was like, oh, okay. I mean, it achieved the same thing. They died, right? So we'll take that. But, yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, that's just one of those moments where it wasn't a waste of Graviton because I did not expect the Concussive Blast to come in. And there's no way we could have planned for that. It's just a reaction thing. Like, I seen them coming in. I'm like, oh, God, let's grab them. I wasn't really focusing too much on my team either because I was 100 charge. I knew I could wreck that blob. Like, if I grabbed them and just pile into them, I'm going to do massive damage. It's going to let my team follow up. Not necessarily a wombo combo, but it's going to do so much damage to them, it's going to wreck them. And you're seeing there, D.Va getting absolutely wrecked by me because I'm still at this massive charge number. D.Va has no chance against me. That D.Va player really needs to change. And it's a big fault of that player to not change to a different hero because you're just getting wrecked by me over and over again. Our Winston player as well is playing exceptionally well. He's going in. He's almost playing reckless, right? Look at him. He's just diving in. I love this because I'm going to stay with my Winston. There he is. He's in on the front line. I'm shielding him. Admittedly, he did use his barrier there, probably because he was so far away and he was in the enemy team, which, you know, we can let him off for that. But yeah, he's playing really well. He's letting me charge it. He's letting me barrier him so I get charged. And this is what every Zarya player wants. This, though, is a little bit crazy. Like, we went a little bit too far forward there, maybe. We did secure the kill, so it's not too bad. Provided you know when to come back, that's fine. Don't go too far forward and get wrecked. Like, our Reaper player there was a bit too far forward. I don't know what our Pharah player is doing over there as well. Seems a bit too far forward. But I had my shield for the Reaper player, and it allowed me to grab the Reaper player there and give a bit of protection. This, again, is a very simple way to get charge. If D.Va uses her ulti and you've got your shields up, well, just stand there and take it because you're going to get a shitload of charge. Now I've got Graviton Surge available again, and I'm sort of looking for a time to use this, and I've used it, and I don't really think much happened there with that Graviton. Again, it was probably a panic Graviton because I can see we're about to win. I'm thinking, let's just secure the game. Let's fire the Graviton off and, you know, make sure we win. I think it probably did pull somebody forward, but at that time, the Pharah player was ulting. Yeah, maybe that did help. The Graviton, maybe secured the kill with that ulti, I don't know. But what has happened here is we had a very good first round where we were DPS heavy. Then we changed to a more standard double tank kind of build. And instead of going from, which we were using the D.Va where we got absolutely wrecked on well, we then moved into using Winston. And you can see how effective this is. This game really, really highlights changing your team to just counter the enemy. Because if we didn't have a Winston and we stuck with a D.Va, I wouldn't be as effective. The team wouldn't be as effective. And maybe we wouldn't be 2-1 up right now. A lot of Overwatch is skill, but a lot of Overwatch is game knowledge. If you know when to swap, you will just be a much better player. It's also things like positioning as well. When you get better at positioning in Overwatch, you just become a much better player. I think I'll possibly do a video on that in the future because I think it's one of those skills a lot of people don't really realize is actually a skill. Like, yeah, you need good accuracy, but if you're mechanically amazing but you don't really stand in the right places, you're going to get wrecked. You know, and I know players like this as well, and it's kind of frustrating to see them play like that. So, our Winston's gone straight in. I've shielded him. I've got charge. We're pushing forward. I'm 50%. We're basically right in their face. May's got no chance. I'm going to kill her. McCree's hiding to the side. I mean, it's beautiful. Winston comes back. See that Winston player? Phenomenal. Like, really, really phenomenal. I don't want to say it's difficult to play Winston, because I don't think it is difficult to play Winston. But Winston needs support. Like, if he doesn't have support, Winston will dive in and immediately die. Like, you'll notice that he has the Orb of Harmony on him pretty much all the time from... I mean, he's dead there. He did take a lot of damage there. But I've got 100 charge again. That's fine. But you'll notice he's always got the Orb of Harmony on him from our Zenyatta player. That's because that's where it should be. He's going to be going off into the enemy. I'm always going to be looked to shielding him. Because, you know, he's going to be off in the enemy taking massive quantities of damage. You just have to absolutely do that. So... we are kind of losing a point here. It's sort of in contention. They're sort of pushing to the back. I've managed to protect the Pharah player there. So you can see like the way I'm going with this. What I'm trying to get across in this video is my shield use is... as Zarya has become way, way better through me just not immediately shielding. Through me not just thinking, oh, I'm going to take damage, let's shield. Like I kind of shielded there, expecting to take damage and only took a little bit. So maybe that wasn't the greatest. But and there was that example with Lucio on the previous point where... I just shielded him for no point. Like, I was like, here you go, Lucio. Oh, yeah. That wasn't too great. I've got to get that out of my system. And I think I am starting to get that out of my system. Like, a lot of the time, I wanted to be too proactive. Like, react too quick. Like, right, I'm going to take damage. Shields up. Don't do that. Like, if the motto of this video is anything, at least start taking damage before you shield. Like then, look, I started taking damage, and then I was like, right, yes, I'm just going to put my shield up now. I know I'm taking damage. I mean, there's no way you're going to instantly die as Zarya. I mean, look, you've got 400 combined health and shields. You're just not going to die. Nobody is going to one-shot you. So you can take damage. And look at that. I killed that Zarya player there through just mind gaming her with my shields, and it just wrecked it. Like, I outplayed her there. There is no question about it. That Zarya player had no chance. And if you can do that to your opposite number, then you are doing something right. And that's exactly what you need to be doing. It goes for any hero, right? If you're playing a Reinhardt and you block Earth Shatters from the enemy Reinhardt, but yours land, then you're winning that duel. You are, like, there are critical moments in Overwatch where it is a duel. It's like a 1v1. And there, of course, at the end, I use a Graviton just to keep them off the point. So there you go, guys. This has been OverAnalyzed Zarya on Ilios, and I have an average energy of 60%, which is crazy high. Let me know what you think about this, guys, in the comments below. I've been Stylosa, and I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.